Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about credible and non-credible online sources. I know here it says incredible, but we don't mean incredible like, oh, that's incredible. We mean incredible as in non-credible. Okay, so let's talk about what those words mean real quick. Okay, the root word cred actually means to believe. So if something is credible, it's believable. We can believe it and we can trust it, right? Okay, so the root word not in means not. So if something is incredible, it's not believable, we cannot trust it. All right, so we're talking about credible and incredible or non-credible online sources. Just because it's online does not mean you can believe it. Okay, fake news, right? All right, so here's the thing. There's a lot of information out there that we can use to research a topic or to learn more about something that we're curious about. But just because it's on a nice looking website doesn't mean it's credible. All right, so think about this. Why are books considered credible and online stuff isn't always considered credible? And I'm not saying books are 100% credible and nothing online is. I'm just saying, why does it seem like books are more credible? Okay, so think about it for a second. And I know the directions here say turn and talk with a partner or small group. You may not have one around you, but it's just something to think about, okay? Not necessarily a right or wrong answer, but just kind of think about it. Why does it seem like books are more credible and online resources are not always considered credible? Is it easier to publish a book than it is to put something out there online? Is it more difficult to publish a book than it is to put something out there online? What might that have to do with why some things are considered credible and some aren't? Just kind of think about that. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's some more to think about, okay? Usually books are considered to be credible sources of information because they have to go through an official publishing process with editors. There are a lot of other people involved. It's pretty tough to publish a book if the facts or the information is wrong, okay? And if it is wrong, then word gets out and the author won't sell very many of them. Even before you read a book, you can go to like Amazon, right? You can read reviews, you can see what other people have to say about it, and you can find out who the author is and what makes the author qualified to write about a topic. It's just a little bit more complicated to publish a book. There are hoops to jump through, right? There are other people involved. Whereas online resources, now there are incredible, like I just used the word incredible and I used it not in the way I wanted to, but there are amazing resources online that are so good and helpful and factual. But a lot of times online resources are not considered to be that credible. So here's the deal. Pretty much anyone can write anything he or she wants to online. Okay? Pretty much anyone can make themselves seem like an expert, and there's not really a good way to check and see if that person is actually qualified to write about that topic. Many people online write excellent articles and they provide really good information, and over time they prove themselves to be credible, but it takes time and it's not quite as clear-cut as like traditional book authors. So you have to be really careful about what information you're getting online, who put it out there, do they know what they're talking about, right? So let's be realistic. In today's times, we're going to get most of our information online. Like we just are, okay? So we're going to talk about some of the best tricks that we can use to make sure that what we read online is coming from a trustworthy, credible source. Because guess what? If we go around saying or writing or talking about something and we got that information from a non-credible source, what does that make us, right? We're not credible either. So that's why we're going to talk about this here. Okay, so here's some statements, okay? We're going to go through the next few slides. If you think that the example represents a credible online source, you can stand up. If you think it represents a non-credible, trustworthy online source, you can sit down. Just so that you're not sitting in front of the video without actually doing anything. So if you think it's credible, stand up. If you think the next statement is non-credible, you can sit down. So we'll get moving a little bit here. Okay, so here's the first one. All right, some of these situations, just a little, before we go to the first example, okay, some of these are going to be really obvious, but some are going to be a little bit tricky, okay, because it kind of depends on what type of information you're looking for. So we've got 7 of these, okay? And you may not be in a place right now where you have a small group or you have any partners, but just know that some of these examples I'm about to show you are going to be very obvious to you. And some of them you're going to think, I don't know, I'm not sure. And that's fine, that's normal, okay? All right, so here's the first one. Here's the situation. You read an article about lifting weights because you want to gain more muscle, and you read about it from an actual professional trainer, okay, like a fitness trainer. You click on a link that explains where the trainer earned his degree, where he got his certifications. You can see where he currently works. You can actually see testimonials from people he's helped. You can read the reviews of him. And the date of the article is from just a few months ago, and it looks like he adds new articles pretty regularly. He also seems to be helping and adding new clients each month. Okay, so does that sound like a credible situation or a non-credible situation? And that might be pretty obvious, right? So you're online, you're looking for ideas for weightlifting, and you find someone who has videos and information about it, and there are testimonials and videos and information from people he's worked with. He's constantly, putting out new information. That looks very credible. Like that's believable, okay? All right, let's look at this one. You love the online game World of Warships. So you find a website all about the game. There are amazing tips and strategies for how to win. And then you notice that there's nothing current on the website. In fact, the date at the bottom of the website says 2009, and the last article was written in 2012. Okay, is that credible or is that non-credible? We're talking about an online game. You're looking for ideas for tips and strategies to win the online game, but there's really nothing past 2009 or 2012. Okay, so maybe that information was relevant, maybe it was good information all those years ago, but since nothing is really new, nothing's really been added to it, we're going to say this is a non-credible source because it's old. Like nothing new has been added to the website. Maybe the person who originally started the website isn't keeping it up anymore. That's not the best source of information. Okay, you read an article on a website that your mom said has good information. Okay, what do you think? It kind of depends on, is your mom credible or is your mom non-credible? Does she usually know her stuff on things like this? So not really a right or wrong answer. You have to decide. It's like if somebody recommends a website for you to go to, you have to consider who's making the recommendation. Is that somebody you can trust or is it somebody you don't really trust? Okay. How about this one? You read an article on a blog that some guy named Uncle Pajama wrote. Lots of words are misspelled. He has funny pictures, but you're not sure if he really knows what he's talking about because what he's saying doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Is that a credible or non-credible source? That seems really obvious. It's definitely not credible. And it's not because his name is Uncle Pajama. I mean, people can do funny things and still be very credible. So his name isn't the reason why. Okay? And funny pictures really isn't the reason why. But it's like, actually what he's saying doesn't make sense. Maybe the pictures have nothing to do with what he's talking about. So it kind of makes you wonder. Not credible. How about this one? You read an article on a blog that some lady wrote. It's about all the countries she's visited. You've never heard of her as an author, but she has a lot of pictures to back up what she's saying. And with each new article you read, you learn something new about the places that she's visited. And then when you look at other websites about those countries, it seems like her articles are true and accurate. Okay, so what do you think? That actually sounds very credible. It could be very credible. So you've never heard of her before, you've never seen her before, but she has pictures that back up what she's saying. And then notice here, it says, when you look at other websites about those countries, it seems like her articles are true and accurate. So, sometimes when you're in doubt, if you think this is a really good website, I'm not really sure if my teacher's going to let me use it. I'm not really sure if it's a credible one or not. It looks like it is, but I'm not sure. You could go and check out other websites about that same topic and just kind of see if everything's making sense. See if what they're saying matches up. Okay, a couple more examples. Okay, you're tired of Snapchat, you're tired of Instagram, so you decide to learn about other types of social media to try out. right? You find a great looking website with easy to read information. The date at the bottom of the website is current. And then you notice that all the pictures and images of the website are of social media apps from a few years ago that you've never heard of. You also see that the non-app topics are the only ones that look updated. This could be a little bit tricky, right? So the date at the bottom of the website is current. The pictures and images on the website are from a few years ago, and they're not really apps that anybody uses anymore. But then you see other topics on the website that do look updated. So you have to kind of think, okay, well, what are you looking for, right? What did you come to this website to look for? Is some of the information outdated, but it doesn't really matter? Is some of the information updated and actually it does matter to you and it is important? So you have to decide. It's not necessarily a right or wrong answer here. You have to think about, wait, what was I going to the website for again? Is the information that's been updated, is that the kind of information I'm looking for? The information that has not been updated in a while, does that ruin it for me? You have to decide based on what you are researching. Okay, I think this might be our last example. All right, you're hoping to read online about ways that students can work to improve the lives of others. Like, what are things students can do to improve other people's lives? So you find a nice looking website that looks up to date, the information's interesting, and as you read, you realize that all the articles are about actual students in real life who've done amazing things. Does that sound credible, or does that sound non-credible? Right? It sounds credible. It sounds amazing. It sounds incredible, but incredible in a good way, not a bad way. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, this part says, it says you get to work with your partner or small group to analyze exactly what is credible or incredible about each scenario. If you don't have a small group right now, that's okay. I think you got the point, so we can skip this part if you're not in a place where you can actually talk to or work with other people at the moment. But I wanted to show you something else, okay? Take a look at this, all right? So if you have been assigned to choose a topic, research a little bit of information about it, you've got to think about what you consider to be reliable sources and what you consider to be unreliable sources, okay? So these are just a few examples. These are not the one and only set of trustworthy online websites for research topics. There are many, many others, and you may not even like some of these websites, okay? But these are just examples to get you thinking. These are things that you could start with. If there are websites on here that you don't like, that you think there are better websites, that's fine. This is just to get you going, okay? But your task, in fact, there's a section here where you can actually put in some new responses if you want to add to that list. But basically, this is your task right here. In one paragraph, explain what details and pieces of information make these websites trustworthy. So all you're doing is you're just going to write a paragraph where you check out some of these websites. You don't have to check out all of them. And if there are other websites you like, or that your family likes, or that your teacher recommends, you can add them to the list. But the paragraph here that you're going to write up is you're just going to look at a few of these and look at the things they have in common. What do they all have in common that makes them considered to be trustworthy websites?